temporary housing for 50 families displaced by Portland's urban renewal. Built on a former landfill, these prefabricated units face issues like wet basements and cracked foundations. Portland Housing Authority secured brownfields funding and began a $41 million redevelopment project, transforming the area into a sustainable community. These brownfield grants were made possible with awards from the state, GPCOG, the EPA, and the City of Portland. The City of Portland also provided a grant from the Dusan Housing Trust Fund and tax increment financing. We're grateful for the support that the entire City Council, Mayor Dion, and City leadership, and pleased that Senator Dusan, as well as Councilor Bullitt, and I think Sykes and Ali could join us today. I would also like to thank our residents, particularly the residents in the Front Street Phase 1 where we currently stand. They endured several months of construction activity, and we appreciate their patience. I'd like to acknowledge residents like the family of Abraham Khalil Fathi, who raised their family at 38 Ilsley Street, then relocated to Riverton for 2.5 years during construction, and was one of the first returning residents at a location nearly identical to where their former home stood. Welcome home. I've got a couple of resident letters to share briefly. Linda Maddy writes, I recently moved into the Front Street location, and I love it. I love having the ability to get my mail and my laundry done in the same building. I struggle with mobility, and this increases my independence a lot. I love the amenities in the building, such as community meeting rooms, centralized air conditioning and heat, and I love the way the apartment is designed. There are so many windows, and the areas are lit up well. I enjoy the area that I live in. It is close to all the great parts of Portland. The area is quiet, close to the city, and I get access to a local community garden funded by Cultivating Community. Bonnie Jarrett also shared her thoughts. Living here means everything to me. My safety, my sanity, and my stability. My favorite part of living here is that I truly feel good in this community and in this area of Portland. I feel safer in my living environment because of all the added safeguards for security at our building. And this area is just a beautiful area in which to live. Living here has impacted my life greatly. I am now able to concentrate on my physical and mental health, something I couldn't even think of doing being homeless. I am also able to give back to the community by helping out anti-trafficking services. My future for myself here is to get well and get back out into our homeless community and help out where there may be a need. But my focus is going to be finding more time to be available for all the men and women in need who may be affected in one way or another by human trafficking and drug addiction. People don't realize things others have been through in life, so let's all have some patience and understanding of that. And don't judge anyone by the way they look, act, talk, and live. Right. Because as hard as I am on the outside, I broke down crying when I first saw my apartment. And I've never been so grateful for things and the people that got me here, especially my case manager and Clayton, our property manager, who were kind and patient with me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Linda and Bonnie, for sharing your experience with us. By replacing the original poorly constructed housing, we replaced 50 units with 105 units, more than doubling the number of families that we house, while increasing the walkability of the neighborhood. We are also working with the city and Portland Trails to construct a pathway to connect not only Front Street, but the entire East Deering neighborhood with Payson Park, the city's crown jewel of its parks. I'm a little biased, so yeah. In addition to returning families who call Front Street home, with rental assistance from Maine Housing and the State Department of DHHS, we are housing 8 asylum seeker families who were previously living in area hotels. This rental assistance was made possible through the efforts of Greg Payne from the Mills Administration and the leadership of Maine Housing. These families have a stable home for their children to attend schools, and for the parents to begin the process of seeking work authorization and permanent status with assistance from legal aid organizations like the Immigrant Legal Advocacy Project. We also house 11 individuals and families exiting City of Portland homeless shelters, providing permanent housing opportunities and stability for those families. The city continues to support the newly housed individuals as they transition back to permanent housing. During construction, families were provided with comprehensive relocation assistance, including options for purchasing homes, moving into market rate units, utilizing housing choice vouchers, or transitioning to other public housing. This project faced and overcame the challenges of the COVID pandemic, supply chain disruptions, and labor shortages. To date, the redevelopment of Front Street has employed over 500 workers, 35 subcontractors, 92% of which are based in Maine. Upon completion of the project, 13 of the original 43 families chose to return to the newly renovated apartments. We have a resident services coordinator and an on-site community center to help foster community engagement and support. UTL Architecture designed beautiful buildings that fit well with the neighborhood. The new buildings are built to meet the rigorous passive house standards for energy efficiency, using 80% less energy and providing enhanced air sealing and soundproofing between apartments. We also have plans for a third phase, which will be comprised of 8 townhouse homeownership units. 6 of the units will be targeted to households earning less than 120% of the area median income, targeting the missing middle and providing a pathway to homeownership, which has become increasingly challenging to attain. Programs like Maine Housing's first-time homeownership and innovative first-generation program make these kinds of projects possible. This project is a clear example of our commitment to addressing housing needs and creating sustainable, welcoming communities. It's a reminder of what we can achieve when we work together towards practical solutions. To speak on this in greater detail, we're pleased to have several guests of honor here with us today, including Mayor Mark Dion, Maine Housing Executive Director Dan Brennan, Sarah Lawrence on behalf of Congresswoman Shelley Pingree, and Christian Milneal, the Chair of the Portland Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. Before we get to our speakers, I want to give special acknowledgement to a few individuals and organizations who have played and continue to play important roles in the transformative redevelopment here at Front Street. First, I want to recognize our incredible staff at the Portland Housing Authority and Portland Housing Development Corporation. Days like today are a rare opportunity to see the fruits of our dedication, professionalism, and work ethic in person. You should all be very proud. In addition to organizations we've already recognized, I'd like to acknowledge the others without whom this project would not be possible. First and foremost, Maine Housing. See Dan's here today to speak. Mark Wiesendanger and Bill Glover. City of Portland, the professional staff, Mary Davis and Greg Watson. Our entire congressional delegation, Senator Kings, Collins, and Representative Pingree. Governor Mills' administration, Greg Payne. The Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston, Ken Willis and Toby Goldberg. Bath Savings, Mara Pennell and Julie Wagner. RBC Capital, our equity investor at the property, Stephen Lee and Louis Bledsoe, who are equity on our, which in a few months in the lead your shoulder and see from here. Office, Jessica Dominguez and Jim Byrne. The entire office team today, but they played a big role in this as well. Sacco Construction, I saw Drew Wing and I think Jeff Sacco may be here too. They did a tremendous job as our construction partner here. And Drummond Woodson, Gary Vogel and Rob Liscord. And finally, to everyone who's here today, thank you. I'd like to now welcome Mayor Dion.